Welcome to my legislative report. I'm State Representative Parke Wentling of the 17th District, which includes portions of Lawrence, Mercer, Crawford, and Erie counties. And today I'm here in Crawford County in Linesville with Tammy Bell, owner of Twin Pies. Welcome,
Hi.
Tammy.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us. So tell us about yourself and how you started the business here.
Well, I'm from Linesville, and my daughters and I have individual talents, and we thought about keeping a family recipe alive. My parents used to have a restaurant, and a lot of pies went out the door, so with all of our individual talents, we thought we can start this small business that we have.
Excellent. And tell me how technology has allowed you to work with your daughters.
Well,
And where are they located?
Both of my daughters live out of state, one in Manhattan and the other one in Cleveland. So my youngest is the one that markets and brands and does all of our graphic design and photography. And my other one, with our Square system that we have, she does all the billing and accounting and bookkeeping end of it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what type of pies do you make?
We make not a whole big variety, but a few good pies. They're scratch pies from the bottom to the top. So we'll throw in a new one each 2 weeks just to see how the flavor goes, and we have free samples for everyone to try.
Wonderful. And what flavors? Any specific flavors that are favorites of yours or big sellers?
Our most popular is our peanut butter. We have a French silk top peanut butter, and then we have the coconut cream. We toast our own coconut, and we use all fresh ingredients. And even our limes and the key lime, we squeeze the lime, so everything's a scratch pie.
Now you mentioned your family's restaurant, and where do you get your recipes? Is it from the family?
Majority of them are from families. Some of them, with my staff in the kitchen, would ask, well, let's try this. And
Excellent.
We'll put it together and we'll try it and then sample it out and see how that goes.
Very good. So what is unique about your pies? You mentioned scratch, and what other things are unique about your pies?
I think the history behind it, the pie crust itself, my sister's grandmother-in-law, she had passed away many years ago. Her crust secret recipe, and we used that. And then my mother's steps on preparing pie. So.
Excellent, excellent. Now, do you sell any pies online or in any other
We have.
locations around the county at all?
We have sold online. We have a Facebook page, and we do have a website, but our Facebook page tells you our weekly specials.
Very nice.
We're not staffed yet to have it pop up to where I want a pie now, and we're moving in slow. We just started at the end of May, and I guess just taking orders over the phone is what we're doing now.
Very good. Do you do any type of delivery at all, or do you deliver to any special events or anything like that? Do you have orders for special events or things?
We have
such as
another
that?
coffee shop, actually, where we purchase our coffee bean, Rising Star in Cleveland. They want to sell our pies.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell us about some of the other products that you sell here.
Oh gosh, we have a lot of products. We have our popcorn, our Amish
Okay,
popcorn.
sure.
We have our
Sure.
bulk baked goods
Mhm.
and jams and soaps and enamelware and
Nice.
fresh eggs that they're hand gathered.
Very good, very good. So how do small businesses in the local area, how do they work together here in Linesville? You know, through the chamber or
The
just-
Linesville has a big heart. We all help each other. We come up with ideas how to pull more people in, the tourists that are down there feeding the fish. That's a huge event there yearly.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get them involved in actually technology and Route 6 right in front of us. There's a lot of history here. So we're trying to develop that. So ideas, throwing it back and forth.
Very good. What have been the biggest challenges in starting and running your own small business?
Well, finding a building that would be unique to us, which the lady that had this was a bulk food store in Delhi. And it was a cute building itself, but just tweaking it a little bit and bringing it back to the original look, what it looked like when they had built this building. So just ideas like that, and using refurbished products, and just making it cute.
It's beautiful. Now, did you use any state government small business resources at all to help you get started?
Yes, we
with
did.
your
We
business
went
here?
through Gannon, their small development business program, and they walk you. You have a council and a group of people that you can rely on, and they walk you through with their business plan, and you come up with ideas, and you do your own footwork. And then at the end, we went through Northwest Commissions for a small interest rate loan, and here we are now.
Excellent, excellent. What are your future plans here at Twin Pies?
Future plans, okay. Well, we have different phases. Our next phase, we have our pies and our bulk foods. We'll have deli sandwiches, and hopefully soups towards the winter.
Very nice. Okay. How can people contact you? You mentioned a website. You mentioned the phone, obviously. Is there any other way, or?
Yeah, our Facebook.
Okay,
We rely on that. That's a huge, for us, for people that ask us questions, and we get right back to them. So, or they can call us, and word of mouth.
Sure. Do you have any advice for would-be small business entrepreneurs? It sounds like you've had a lot of success with that. Is there anything in particular that you'd love to share with anyone that's interested in startup?
Gannon small business classes are a must to get you going. You can come up with all these ideas, but you need someone to put you on a track and to actually know exactly what's behind the scenes. In town here, we do have some new businesses. It's growing. We have across the street, real estate. All the storefronts here are changing. More people are shopping. In fact, on our Facebook page, it said that we had lunch, a group of ladies at Rebecca's. We shopped treasured gifts. We came into Twin Pies for a sweet treat. What a nice day in Linesville. So that's what we all want to see.
Excellent. So thank you very much for the information about your shop here. Would you like to give us a small tour?
Sure, sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, Tammy, this part of your store looks like a country store. Would you like to share with us a little bit about it? I see you have some eggs here.
Yes, this is one of our favorites. Actually, my granddaughter, she's only 6, and we asked her if she sold some of her fresh eggs, what she would call her egg farm. And she said gobble gobble, but it's the wrong bird, but we branded it anyway, gobble gobble. And what's unique is each carton is hand stamped, and a sticker, free range, hand gathered, and then she stamps one egg inside a little peep.
Very nice.
So this is her part of the business.
Excellent. It looks like you have some bulk food also. Would you like to
Yes.
tell us about that and where you get that
We
from?
have, this is all from an Amish bulk stores that we purchase, and we branded and labeled our own Route 6 market. We're Route 6 in front of our store.
Excellent.
My daughter in New York is helping us out with that.
Now these would mostly focus on things for recipes for pies.
Pies, soups, you have your pickles for sandwiches, rubs. We have a lot for grilling and cooking, and our candy supplies that all the kids like to eat.
Now what do we have here?
Our famous pies. They're made from scratch daily here. We have our peanut butter, blueberry, coconut, banana, very berry, blackberry, Dutch apple, butterscotch, and key lime.
Of course, we're going to get a chance to sample every one, I'm sure, before we go.
There you go. And we have our coffee bar here.
Oh, wonderful.
We have our Rising Star coffee beans. They're roasted in Cleveland. It's a
Sure.
really nice coffee.
Very nice. And how about the repurposing?
Oh, the repurposing, we used reclaimed wood. This is an old pocket door for our counter. This is in front of an old house that was tore down. our bench and our unique water display over there. That's an old refurbished, reused, and we like that vintage look.
Very nice, very nice. Well, you think we can take a look behind the scenes and check
Sure.
out the kitchen?
Sure.
Excellent.
Okay, we'll walk through the door here. And this is our beautiful kitchen.
Tammy, tell me about how you came up with the name Twin Pies.
Twin Pies, well, we had a coffee shop plan and the bulk foods, and we weren't sure how to name our pie shop. So I am a twin, so no one had that name, so we call it Twin Pies.
Excellent. Would you give us a tour around the kitchen? And
Sure.
so you have some staff here.
This is Amanda. Hi. And she's actually making the crumb top for Dutch apple, and she made the fresh macaroons. Everything's natural ingredients. And this is Esther. Hi. She actually makes fabulous pies. They're beautiful. It's hard to cut them.
It looks like an apple pie.
That's an apple
All
pie.
right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Can you show us around the rest of the kitchen? And
Yeah, this is our dry storage goods right back through here. And we have a loading dock in the back. And it's a small kitchen, but a lot of nice things come out of a small kitchen. And our prep areas, our mixing areas.
very good. What are these?
These are macaroons. They're cooling down because we dip them in a French silk chocolate.
Can you explain what that is?
French silk chocolate is a high-end chocolate that's not so waxy, and it gives it a nice chocolate taste.
Very good, very good.
And as you can see, we're set up to sell deli sandwiches eventually. We have our slicers.
Very good.
And then down here is our coffee station. And
Yeah, let's take a look
we
at the
make
coffee
homemade
station.
peanut butter.
Sure.
We have honey roasted peanut butter. So this machine will make a fresh batch of homemade peanut butter.
We have espresso machine.
And we have a really nice espresso machine. And Sherry actually is one of our employees that she's the master coffee maker here. She does fabulous lattes, and we're all learning the artwork on the latte, so that's fun to do.
You don't need to speak Italian to be able to run this then?
No, but we did have 2 Italian customers that couldn't speak English and gave us a thumbs up. So
Excellent.
that was really nice. That they loved our coffee. And this is our coffee bar.
Sure, so you have a grinder here too. Very nice. Tammy, I noticed there are some items here that we haven't had a chance to look at. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, actually this is the macaroon dipped in chocolate that you saw in the kitchen. And we have fresh scones. Right now we have a blueberry and a pineapple. We also have mammoth muffins, that's a banana, and the large chocolate chip cookies.
Wonderful. Well, we really appreciate the opportunity to be here today for a visit. I can really tell why people want to be here with the smell and the sights and even the sounds out back. And would you like to share with us contact information?
Sure,
about
you can
Twin Pies?
contact us at twinpies.com or Facebook us at Twin Pies PA. And I thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm Parke Wentling, State Representative. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be visiting another local attraction here in Linesville area.
Did you know that the Pennsylvania Farm Show's history goes all the way back to 1851? Originally organized as a state fair by the Pennsylvania Agricultural Society, it was discontinued in 1899. It wasn't until 1916 that Charles Patton, the Pennsylvania Secretary of Agriculture, worked with others to develop a new agricultural fair which debuted in January 1917. It was in 1925 that the roots were laid for the farm show that we know today. The show had grown so large that 40,000 attendees were traveling to various sites all around Harrisburg. During this year, the Pennsylvania State Department of Agriculture took control of the event, and the legislature had decided to appropriate money that gave birth to the farm show complex. Finally, in 1931, the main exhibition building opened and welcomed 150,000 visitors to the show that year. Over the years, the farm show has continued to grow. Various events showcasing animals, products, and skills were added to the event. The farm show complex has also continued to grow, with more buildings and arenas being added over the years. The count stands at 24 acres inside 11 buildings and 3 arenas. Today, the show hosts approximately 6,000 animals, 10,000 competitive exhibits, and 300 commercial exhibits, along with over 500,000 visitors. Since the doors to the main exhibition building opened, the farm show has become the world's biggest indoor agricultural event. Now you know.
Did you know that Violet Oakley was the first female artist to receive a large commission for artwork done in a United States Capitol building? In 1902, Joseph Houston, designer and architect for the 3rd Harrisburg Capitol building, commissioned Violet Oakley to paint murals for the governor's reception room. He believed that Oakley's contribution would add interest to the building and act as an encouragement of women of the state. Prior to beginning her work for the Capitol, Oakley set out to England to conduct research for her murals. Upon return, she decided to center her artwork on William Penn and the founding of Pennsylvania. Oakley made sure that Penn's ideals of justice and peace could be seen throughout her work. In 1906, she completed 13 murals titled The Founding of the State of Liberty Spiritual and was placed in sequential order around the governor's reception room. These murals were some of the first to be installed in the Capitol. When Edwin Austin Abbey, another artist for the Capitol, died in 1911, Oakley was offered another opportunity to create murals for the unfinished Senate and Supreme Court chambers. Her work on the Senate murals, including International Understanding, was completed by 1919. Oakley then completed the Supreme Court murals, including the Divine Law, by 1927. Oakley is said to be the principal artist for the Capitol, with a total of 43 murals on display. She remains one of the greatest muralists in the United States. Now you know.
Welcome back to my legislative report. You know, just a couple miles from the Twin Pies shop where we started our program is a state-run facility that is very important to the local ecosystem. I'm talking about the Linesville Fish Hatchery. And I'm here today with Jared Sayers and Rob Brown. Welcome. Rob, could you tell us your title here?
Yes, I'm a regional fish production manager. My responsibilities include overseeing the fish production at 7 state fish hatcheries across the state.
Excellent. Jared?
I am the manager of this facility here in Linesville, and I'm in charge of keeping the facility up to date and raising all the species we do at this particular facility.
Wonderful. Rob, what role do hatcheries play with the PA Fish and Boat Commission?
Well, our hatcheries overall produce and stock the fish that the anglers see each year, whether you're a trout fisherman or whether you're fishing on a reservoir like Pymatuming Lake. Annually, our agency stocks approximately 3.2 million adult trout and over 40 million juvenile warm water species of fish.
Wonderful. Do you have any statistics on perhaps the impact on the local economy or the PA economy in regards to fishing and boating?
Yes. Recently, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the American Fisheries Association estimated that angling and recreational activities in Pennsylvania contribute nearly $1.6 billion to the Pennsylvania economy.
That's amazing. Jared, when was this facility built?
This facility was built in 1937. Back in those days we had dirt raceways and it looked a lot different. And they went through a massive remodel, built a visitor center back in 1971.
Very nice. What types of fish are hatched here and how many do you hatch per year?
This is kind of a unique facility. A lot of people think of fish hatcheries as raising trout, but this is what we call a warm water fish hatchery. So we raise a bunch of different species. We hatch a lot of steelhead and brown trout here over the winter time, but our summers are mostly busy raising warm water fish, such as walleyes and muskies and largemouth bass, channel catfish, those kinds of things.
So where are those fish released? You mentioned a number of different species, and they released in other locations?
Yeah, our fish go all over the state of Pennsylvania. For the most part, we try to stick on the western half of Pennsylvania. We have another warm water hatchery that takes care of the eastern half, but basically any lake or river system in Pennsylvania is fair game, and if the biologist requests fish from us, we'll take the fish there and stock them.
Excellent. What features are in the hatchery, and how do they work?
Well, we have a large hatch house, which is where everything begins. We take eggs, we hatch eggs, we raise very small fish, get them started on, teach them how to eat dry food and get them started and get them growing up to a few inches. After that, we have many ponds around the hatchery property. We have 19 that we actually have in production ponds. And we also have concrete raceways. So depending on the species of fish, what kind of water they need, what kind of feeding type is going to happen, based on it determines where they go and where they're going to spend the rest of their summer.
Wonderful. How many people were employed here, and what kind of tasks do they perform?
Okay. We have 5 fish culturists. I have a foreman that works under me, and we have a clerk typist and a maintenance repairman that work here at the hatchery. On the grounds, we also have 2 fisheries biologists that survey the surrounding areas' waters and make requests for what fish we're going to raise.
Wonderful. So I would assume that you'd like to see as many young people as possible to be involved with fishing and boating. What kind of programs do you have available here at the hatchery?
Well, our biggest one is our open house. It's every year on the first Saturday in April. We welcome the public to come in and see us spawning the walleyes and learn a little bit about everything that we do here. We have casting stations set up at that point to try to get the kids excited. I know we have an education specialist that works out of this facility sometimes, and he does a lot of family fishing events, and it's always exciting to see fishing reports coming back and people actually enjoying catching the fish that we released out into a particular lake.
How can people contact you?
Oh, well, this is a state facility, so we're open every day from 7:30 to 3:30, so people can stop in. They can also call the hatchery. Our number's 814-683-4451. We get a lot of public phone calls just asking general fish questions, or where to go fishing, or if one ramp is open or not. We try to do the best we can and answer everything for everybody.
Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you for all the information about the hatchery. And Jared, why don't you show us around?
Okay, sounds good.
Right now I'm staring into an enormous tank of fish here in the visitor center. Jared, could you tell us about that?
Sure. This viewing tank here is 10,000 gallons. We fill it every spring with fresh fish that we catch in our trap nets when we go out to take eggs from the walleyes. We maintain this visitor center here for the public to come in and kind of learn what we do here and see some fish. Obviously the viewing tank is a big draw, but we also have videos on the wall. People can see us in action with things we're doing throughout the year. There's mounts on the walls of state record fish they can see, a lot of publications, just a lot of information that can be had in the visitor center here. We get about 58,000 visitors a year, so we try to make it exciting when they do come.
Jared, I imagine the fishing is pretty easy in this tank here.
Yeah, a lot of the public would like to do that, but we don't allow that sort of thing. It's just here for everybody to enjoy.
So what kind of species do you have here?
Well, we try to get a representative of each species that's out in Pymatooning. So we have largemouth bass and smallmouth bass. We have perch and bluegills, black crappies and white crappies, channel catfish and flathead catfish. We have walleyes. We don't currently have a muskie in here. Sometimes we get a nice muskie and sometimes we don't, but we try to just let everyone see what they would see out when they're fishing.
That's great. What's our next stop?
Well, now we're going to go outside and take a look at our Lake Erie brown trout program.
Wonderful, thank you. This is the bottom of the tank we were just looking at from above. Can you tell us about that, and everything else is here?
Yeah, this is another piece that the visitors can see when they come here. We call this the viewing platform. So we can come down the stairs and you can actually look through the glass and see the same fish you were looking at from up above. And then while you're here on the viewing platform, it gives you kind of an elevated position to look out here over our hatch house. The first half of the year, this is where all the magic happens. We bring adult walleyes in, adult muskies in, we take their eggs, we incubate the eggs down here, we hatch them, we take meticulous care of them while they're really, really small and get them up on the feed. And once we get them up to 2 or 3 inches, then we take them out to their summer homes out in a raceway or a pond. One nice thing about the hatch house here is we have a boat slip that we can drive right out into the Palm Tuning Sanctuary with our boat. We go out there and we set a dozen trap nets all over the place to try to catch whatever species we happen to be after at that time. Currently, we do have some channel catfish down here. We're always looking at ways to improve efficiency too. So one of the things we've realized is we can be more efficient and have to take less eggs on channel catfish. If we raise them inside, we get a lot more growth on them, we get a lot better returns, and they do get a much better product to put out there for the Pennsylvania fishermen.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing about this facility here.
You're welcome. So all of our walleyes are stocked for the year. We're getting ready. Our muskies are out in raceways. They're going to be stocked very shortly. They're going to be the largest muskies we've ever stocked in the history of the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. And very shortly we'll be spawning brown trout here in the beginning of November.
Yeah, I understand you do have some brown trout in the holding tank. Mind if we go see them?
Let's go take a look.
All right, thank you. We're down here at the raceway at the brown trout. There's some activity going on behind us. Would you like to tell us what we're seeing?
Sure. This is kind of a neat program we have here, and it's only at the Linesville facility. We raise brown trout strictly for what we call a Lake Erie program. These fish don't go out in trout season. We keep them here year-round. We take our own eggs here. But the idea is these fish go in Lake Erie. They're going to come in with the steelhead that is a big popular fishery up in Erie and the Erie tributaries. And these fish come in as like a bonus surprise for the fishermen up there. They catch a big fat brown trout. These things get large, they get heavy, and the fishermen really get excited about them. So that's kind of the excitement of our program. What we're doing right now is I have a couple guys that are measuring and weighing the fish. These are our brood fish. These are the ones we're going to be taking eggs from in about a month. And right now we're just going to kind of assess their condition factor, their weight versus their length, make sure they're in good condition to be able to produce eggs. We're increasing the protein we're giving them this time of year. And that way, it's usually the beginning of November, mid-November, they start being ready to give us their eggs, and we'll start spawning these fish and start a whole another year of production. The fish we have here behind us are females. We have them separated between the males and the females. They're 3 years old. The program, it took a long time to develop because we need 3-year-old fish to be able to get the eggs from. So we have sections in these raceways where we have 3-year-old fish, we have 2-year-old fish, and then we just moved our yearlings, or this year's fish, we just moved them out here. So we always have 3 generations of brown trout on station, and they just kind of go through a cycle until we can get the eggs we need.
Jared, you mentioned here in the raceway you have female brown trout. Can you tell me how you would determine the male from female?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. And the brown trout are one of the only species that we can tell just by looking at them. They actually have a different look. The males have a much more extended jaw that curves up past their nose, and that little point is actually called a kite. So that's what we look for to separate the males from the females. Many of the species that we go through the spawning season with here, we can't tell until it's time to take the eggs out of them and they actually have a swollen belly. But with the brown trout, we can. I don't know if you remember when you were here in the spring, we were doing the walleyes and the muskies. We went through the similar procedure.
Yeah, we started off with the boat. We went out with nets and caught the fish, and we brought them back in, the walleye, and we separated them male and female. We extracted the eggs from the female, and we extracted the milk from the male. We mixed them together, and we spawned our walleye.
That's how the magic happens.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
That's all the time we have. State Representative Parke Wentling, thank you for joining us here today.